If you feel like you're doing the artist way wrong, feeling resistance towards spending the time on it, or nervous about committing to the program, this video is for you. I completed the Artist Way program in 2020.
I wrote 3 pages every morning for 3 months, and these are the 7 ways that practice has
I've
changed
had
me.
artist dates as a weekly personal card in my Just Get Started card deck, so if you're wondering what that is or what to do with it, view on. Julia Cameron has said this about the artist date.
It's interesting, people will do morning pages, which is essentially assigned work. If I say, I've got something that's really hard and you have to get up early to do it, people are like, fine, we understand work. This is America. We understand the work ethic. But if I say, now I want you to go play once a week, there's all sorts of resistance.
Then when we do give ourselves the time to have fun, we're cheap with ourselves.
Let's say we decide we're going to go to a floral shop for a sense of adventure. Well, we walk in and we go, okay, I've been here, and we walk out.
The goal of the artist date is...
They can just be something that sort of piques your curiosity.
But what is it?
An artist date is a one-time-a-week, festive, solo expedition to do something that interests you. You set aside a little sacred amount of time and you say, I'm going to go take an adventure.
So I want to address something that she said in her interview. Obviously, Julia Cameron is the absolute authority on the subject and has worked with so many people to know that the artist date is challenging because having fun doesn't feel like it's worth our time. It's so true.
Just should say that my artist date did not go well. I did not do it last week.
However, I would add that when it comes to why I don't often prioritize my weekly artist date, it's that I don't plan for them. Logistically, it's more work than morning pages.
Bummer with the artist date was it was work for me. That was like one of the big things that prohibited me or made me just think twice about doing it, was that I had to collect all the supplies. We were watercoloring, or I was supposed to watercolor. And I also didn't know how to do it.
Especially for those of us who live in small towns, remote areas, or where the weather can be cold or raining, or for some of you where you don't feel safe to go out on your own in the evening when you have free time. Additionally, some other forms of resistance or excuses could be that you don't have the money to explore some of the hobbies that you're interested in, or that you're a working mom and literally have no free time to yourself to walk around a garden store for a couple of hours. Or unfortunately, you could feel like you're in a slump, a really hard place, or truly depressed, and doing something for yourself or being around other people is the last thing on your mind. Do any of these sound like what you're going through when trying to do something fun? As summer began, I saw so many cute summer bucket list presentations, lists of things that people wanted to do over the summer. I have done similar lists every year for the last 4 years. I maybe check off a quarter of those items each time I do them for all of the reasons I just mentioned. When I did the Artist Way program, I even made a list of artist dates I wanted to go on. Again, a list is cute and it feels good when you're making it, but without the plan to see it through, it's just a list.
My artist date for this week, I just did it this morning and I scheduled it in. I told Shannon in advance and I just went. I was running on like no sleep too, because for whatever reason I had a very hard time sleeping. So I grabbed coffee first in town, and then I went for a walk on our beautiful trail, and I ended up exploring an area that I had wondered about.
The way to address all of the excuses, whether it's being cheap with yourself when it comes to how you spend your time, feeling as though you don't live near an artsy scene to explore, or feeling nervous about doing something new, is to make a plan to do it.
It felt pretty good to have that time, and it wasn't even time that it was set aside as like the kids went to the skate park, so I got to have time by myself. It was me saying, this is my time. I was proud of myself for that.
Do some research, take notes, schedule it in, tell your family you're going to do it ahead of time. So I wanted to share a couple things on the planning note. Number 1, I have cards that are a fun card deck that you can do solo or add it to your Just Get Started card deck if you're in the fun on this channel with the cards. It's just a way that prioritizes fun. So rather than just that artist date card that's in there, you're now given actual tasks or artist dates to go to or go on, and you're planning ahead of time all of the logistics behind getting there. And so I'll include links below on that. I think that's going to be really fun. The kids and I did it back in April, and it was really cool because at the time what I did was I shuffled all of the fun tasks and I did them at random, and some of the synchronicities that would happen, like one of them was go for a zoo. Well, we were on an island and there's no zoo here, but for whatever reason, on that exact date that I had put go to a zoo on, the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center had an open house. We didn't get to see any animals, but we still got to go to like where they're providing care for animals. So that was weird. And then also there was another like amazing opportunity where the fun item was to go sketch outside. We're not sketchers, you know, we're not drawing type people, where we do it like for fun, but so that was something different to experience. And so that was on the calendar, and it ended up being a windstorm, and it was super cloudy and cold, but we still went, and we went to an outdoor park, and it was the most amazing experience because it was so uncomfortable, and you're sitting there like sketching this little tree, and you just notice so many different things, and it was an experience I would have never gone on or done unless it was something that was presented to us. So there's that option where you can shuffle the cards, or there's just the idea where you're choosing ones that you want to actually do. You put it in there, you plan ahead, and if it doesn't come to fruition, you're not able to do it for whatever reason, you can then shuffle it to a date later in the date where it's not just being added into your to-do list. You're then being really intentional, saying on this day, on the 13th, is when I'll have time, for example. There's also some prompts for at the beginning of the week where you're saying these are the days that we're going to have fun. So anyway, check it out. The other point I wanted to bring up was that I did this artist date, and I did it at an overnight artist date too. I went totally by myself, so no children, so like a true artist date. And I did it with people I never met before, and that were not people I would have normally like been able to be in a room with. So it was so cool because you're putting yourself out of your comfort zone, and you're also just experiencing these new ideas. You're experiencing this new way of conversing with people. You're experiencing all the things, their story. It was just so fun to be in a room with different people. But on top of that, there were also other experiences like Reiki. I'd never done that before, and it wasn't even like on my list or radar to try out. I got to paddle in a new place. So there was just so many little things that I was like, oh gosh, this is why Julia Cameron says to do these, because number one, it's fun, and number two, like I came away from that experience with all these different ideas in my head, and all these like questions and things to think about, and possibilities too, where you think, oh, I could do that. Or I cannot stress enough how awesome an artist date is. It's just like that planning piece that you really have to try. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. So I'm going to do some more like fun updates, because that is a goal of mine, to take artist dates seriously. And I'm actually going to probably do the Artist Way again. It's a 12-week program, like I was saying, and so it's a really big commitment. I want to make sure that I'm actually going to complete it. I'm just kind of like seeing how August is going, because my plan was to start it in September. And if I do that, I'd love to have others join me this time. Last time I did it, it was completely solo, and it was great. I loved it, but there are these opportunities where it's just these incredible moments where it's just amazing, and you want to talk to people about it, but it really is something that you have to read about. Otherwise, it just kind of sounds silly. So anyway, if you want to do Artist Date with me, or Artist Way, let me know, and we'll see how August goes, and then we'll do it in September. And check out the fun cards. All right.